By the end of Thanksgiving, I realized my family didn't love me. They loved what I could give them. I had spent years paying bills, covering debts, keeping them afloat. And then, at the dinner table, my brother stood up, smiled, and turned my generosity into a joke. His wife joined in. The laughter spread, and the room that once felt like home suddenly felt like a stage, and I was the fool they were mocking. That night, something inside me broke, and something stronger began to build. If you've ever felt betrayed by the people you trusted most, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this is a story about betrayal, dignity, and how sometimes the quietest revenge hits the loudest. My name's Adam. I'm 30. A software architect living in Seattle. I grew up in a middle-class family that never had much, but we had pride. At least, I thought we did. When I landed my first tech job, I started helping small things at first. Paying mom's medical bills, covering Mark's overdue car payments, helping my parents keep their house when dad's hours were cut. I didn't think twice. That's what family does, right? Mark, my younger brother, was the opposite of me. Charming, funny, but allergic to responsibility. He floated from job to job, always with a story about how corporate politics or bad luck had done him wrong. Still, I loved him. I wanted him to succeed. Maybe that was my first mistake. When he married Haley, things shifted. She came from money, the kind that shows itself in tone and posture. From day one, I could tell she looked down on me. To her, I wasn't impressive, just a workhorse with a nice paycheck. They just lost their jobs recently, both blaming toxic work culture. Mom said I should help them get back on their feet. Chloe, my fiancée, warned me. Adam, you can't keep fixing everyone's messes. They'll never respect you if they see you as an ATM. I brushed it off. It's family. That word used to mean something. The Thanksgiving setup. Thanksgiving was at my parents' house, a warm, over-decorated suburban home where everything smelled like roasted turkey and nostalgia. Family photos lined the mantel. Me in my graduation gown, Mark holding a trophy from Little League. The moment we arrived, Chloe squeezed my hand. Deep breaths, she whispered. She knew what these dinners did to me, the subtle jabs, the jokes about Mr. Moneybags, the way they all expected me to foot the bill again. Dinner started off fine, light chatter, clinking glasses. Then, after dessert, Mark stood up, glass of wine in hand, that charming grin plastered on his face. The humiliation. Everyone, he said, raising his glass. I just want to take a moment to thank my big brother, Adam. He's been incredible, always helping, always saving us. The family's personal superhero. There were chuckles around the table. I smiled awkwardly. Then he added, though sometimes I wonder if he even knows how to stop working. I mean, the guy can't show up to dinner without checking his phone every 5 minutes. Laughter rippled. Haley leaned in, voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh, come on, Mark, don't tease him. He's not obsessed with control, he just needs to manage everyone's lives for them. It's his love language. Everyone laughed louder this time. Mom tried to shush them, but even she was smiling. Then came the final blow, my Aunt Linda, chuckling. We all know Mark's had his ups and downs, but he's got such a big heart. You can't buy that with money, Adam. The table went silent after the laughter died. I stared at my plate, my throat tight. I'd paid for this dinner, for their house taxes, for Mark's car, which was sitting outside right now. And still, I was the punchline. Chloe's hand slipped under the table, squeezing mine. I could feel her trembling with anger, but her eyes told me, don't lose control, not yet. But something inside me cracked. Then, before I even knew it, I was standing. You know what, Mark? I said. My voice was calm, too calm. You're right, I do work a lot. Because someone has to make sure Mom and Dad don't lose their home. Someone has to cover the car you forgot to make payments on. Someone has to bail you out every time life gives you the smallest challenge. Mark's grin faded. You call that control? I call that responsibility. And you, I pointed at him, then Haley, you call me a savior like it's an insult? You've never saved anyone from anything, not even yourselves. Haley scoffed. Wow, dramatic much? I turned to her. You think this is drama? You've been married 2 years and already spent more of my money than you've ever earned. You flaunt your parents' wealth, but they cut you off for a reason, didn't they? The table went dead silent. Haley's jaw tightened. And the rest of you? I looked around, you laugh, you nod. But when your bills come due, who do you call? When Dad's health took a turn, who paid for the surgery? You think I do this for attention? I did it because I love you. Because I thought maybe, just maybe, it would make me feel like part of this family. My voice broke slightly. Well, you know what? You can keep your jokes. You can keep your pride. From today forward, you handle your own lives. I set my napkin down and walked out. Behind me, no one spoke. In the car, I could barely breathe. Chloe's voice was soft. You did the right thing. I shook my head. I lost it. They'll just see me as the angry one now. She smiled sadly. Maybe, but you finally told the truth. That night, I stared at the ceiling for hours, every word replayed, every laugh, every smirk. Rage doesn't disappear, it just settles into something colder, sharper. Over the next weeks, I pulled away. No more money, no more help. When Mom called, I politely said, "You'll have to manage. I can't keep covering for everyone." The silence on the other end said everything. Then, one night, Chloe came home holding her laptop. "Adam," she said, "I think I have an idea, one that'll make your point beautifully." A month later, I launched something new, the Northbridge Initiative, a foundation offering mentorships and grants to underprivileged families trying to rebuild their lives. It was everything I wish my own family had valued: hard work, humility, gratitude. We hosted a small launch event. I didn't plan for the press to come, but they did. And when one local paper ran a story titled, "Tech Architect Turns Family Lessons into Lifeline for Others," it caught fire online. In the interview I said, "I've learned that generosity should never be about rescuing people from their own choices. It's about helping those who truly want to stand on their own." I didn't mention names. I didn't have to. Within days, the story reached my hometown. I got a text from Mom. "Your brother's upset. Everyone knows you were talking about us." I just replied, "If the shoe fits." Mark tried to spin it, posting on Facebook about how family should be private. But the damage was done. His friends saw him for what he was, the man who mocked his brother, only to watch him turn that pain into something meaningful. Haley's social circle, gone. People whispered about her arrogance. My parents? They eventually called not for money, but for forgiveness. Months passed. Chloe and I moved into a quiet neighborhood outside the city. We spent weekends hiking, unplugged from all the noise. One evening, as we watched the sun dip behind the trees, she asked, "Do you ever regret that night?" I thought for a long moment. "No," I said finally. That night I stopped trying to earn their love. I started respecting myself. The rage that had once burned hot inside me had cooled into something steady, peace, not because I destroyed them, but because I stopped letting them destroy me. Sometimes, revenge isn't about payback, it's about clarity. The moment you stop proving your worth to people who never valued it, that's the real victory. If you've ever had to walk away from someone who took you for granted, tell your story in the comments. Like this video if you felt that moment when Adam finally spoke his truth. And subscribe for more stories where karma doesn't shout. It whispers.